When I first played against Lothar Matthäus, I used to watch him on TV in South Africa. And the first day when I played against him, it's like, wow, I'm playing against Lothar Matthäus, you know? This famous star that I used to see on TV when I was still a young boy. I mean, his technique, the way he moves, it's unbelievable. He makes football look so easy. When I first started playing soccer, I started with 7 years old. I played in South Africa for Mandy Park, and from there I made my way to the national team, under 17s. And I was the first South African to hold an international trophy. That's when South Africa came out of the apartheid. We had a big tournament in South Africa, as I just said, and there I was scoped by a few agents. And they approached me and asked me if I want to go to Europe to play there. So I said yes, and then they came, they spoke to my family, discussed everything, how to go about for me to go overseas, because that time it wasn't so easy, because you had to get a visa, and the Germans at that time were very strict. They didn't give anyone a visa at that time, you know. So it wasn't that easy. It wasn't that easy. And then agents come and then they give you contracts. They want to have contracts with you. For example, if they make the deal, they want 5 or 10% of the transfer fee, and that's how things work. Actually, my family, they were very happy because all my life I lived for football. I'm a big fan of Manchester United. I had posters in my room hanged up from players, and they were very happy. They made the decision. They said, it's all right, we know you're young, there are people that will take responsibility of you, look after you. And yeah, then I went to Germany. The first 2-3 years was very difficult for me in Germany. I couldn't speak the language. I had to take lessons every once or twice a week, and now I can speak the language fluently. Football has become more athletic, so you got to be fit, top fit. You do exercises what I've never done in my life to wake up muscles that you never used before, and it's a total different system. The way training is done the past 2 years, and watching video analysis is also very important for players to watch the opponent, where's the strongest point when they attack. Or for example, for me, when I play against someone, you know, I would like to know, you know, when he gets the ball, what does he do all the time? Does he always go left, or he always go right? And then when you watch videos like that, you can see his weakest point and his strongest point, and sometimes it helps a lot. I think there's a few things I would have changed. For example, signing a long contract at VfL Bochum, because I signed a 5-year contract when I was injured, when I broke my knee. But my biggest goal at the moment is to play at the World Cup 2010 in South Africa, and hope to finish off my international football career after this World Cup. So at the moment I'm looking forward, and I'm working hard to be in this team for 2010.
you can do 5, 6 good things during the game, and the last minute you do a foul and you lose the match. So I think you have to stay calm in the head, and I think that's important. I don't believe in a trick for a penalty. There are some things you can use as a goalkeeper. You can study the penalty kicker. You can watch maybe some actions of him before, maybe some penalties he took before the game, and there you can watch the position of his feet, the position of his body, and but I don't believe in a trick. I always try to look to the ball, and because the attackers always have a lot of movements in their body, and they try to confuse you. And I think it's important to stay calm, to watch the ball, and only watch the ball, because when you start looking to the feet and to the movements of the body, you always lose. Mostly the trainers of the goalkeepers used to be a goalkeeper as well. Because they know how the keeper feels, they know what he needs. Even when it's a bad coach, he has to have some good points, because otherwise you will never be a coach in first division. And I think when a player is smart, he picks out the good points of every coach and learns something about it. And I don't think there are a lot of bad coaches. I think there are a lot of bad players who only wants to pick up the things they like and not the things they need.
I like to think we're the most skillful players in the team, because we have to play with our feet as well as with our hands. Most teams like to go for a tall player, they like the goalkeeper to be pretty tall. The modern goalkeeper needs to be able to play sort of like an outfield player, and not just be like in the old school where the keeper would stay in the goals and rely solely on his shot stopping ability. Nowadays goalkeepers have to be almost like a sweeper, be almost like a 12th player on the pitch, and I think you're becoming more like an all-round player. The last couple of years I've had a specific individual goalkeeper coach, and we do completely different training to the rest of the team. Obviously all of it's like match situation orientated, where we get balls drilled at us every session, a couple of 100 balls every session, and we're working on positioning, on your diving technique, your footwork technique. So every day is different regarding that, and the outfield players will go and do a lot more running, whereas we'll do more explosive jumping around, up and down, off the ground and all that sort of. That's very, very specific to your position. The general rule is to stay on your feet as long as possible and not to go down, because then you're making the mind up for the strike. You make it easy for him. If you go down on the ground too early, then he can go the other way. So the most obvious rule is to stay up on your feet as long as possible, and then just follow the ball and hope like hell that you save it. If you don't, it's not a train smash, because the striker shouldn't have been one-on-one in the first place. But yeah, if you can help the team out, then stay on your feet as long as you can.
Our plan is very simple to come back to the top of the Polish football, yeah. Because Zabrze is a special club. It's the first and till this moment one Polish club who played before in the final of European Cup. Polish teams, club teams, during last 10 years, they not qualified to Champions League. Yeah, that's a problem. And it means that this level in the Polish league is not so high. Because we have not so big budgets, yeah, and I think that that's a problem. That's a problem that the best players from Poland, if they are shining, yeah, they go out. And that's why the level of the Polish clubs is in this moment not so high. But I think Polish football, because of that we are playing in Euro 2008, yeah, we will organize Euro 2012. So that's why I think that also government will help the clubs. We will have probably the bigger or better budgets, and maybe we will try to keep the best players here. And I hope that during 2 or 3 years, maybe Polish clubs they will also play on the high level, on the Champions League level. We have only 2 training grounds, yeah, with not too exciting conditions, yeah. And our stadium is also very old. And that's why we have also plans to make a new stadium. I hope that in 2.5 or maybe in 3 years we will make a new stadium and the Górnik will be played there. So in this case also it's a big distance between top European countries. I mean Spain, England, Germany, yeah, and Poland. Yeah, it's a lot of work to do.
Ja, muss ich sagen, wo bin ich hier nach Zabrze gekommen, habe ich mit Präsident unserer, mit dem Herrn Schuster gesprochen und mit dem Sportdirektor, der Krzysztof Petmański. Und habe ich gesagt, wenn ich wechsle nach Zabrze, dann will ich noch 2 Jahre spielen, dann will ich aufhören und in diesem Verein helfen, die Schritte nach vorne zu machen zum einen großen Górnik Zabrze, wo hat er schon 14 Mal den Titel in Polen gewonnen. Glaube ich, da gibt es nur 2 Vereine in Polen, hatte viele Nationalspieler. Das Problem, glaube ich, das große Problem ist, viele Vereine in Polen können noch nicht so großes Geld bezahlen wie die Vereine aus Ausland. Darum, die besten Spieler aus Polen gehen weg zum Ausland. Und ich werde versuchen, mit dem Präsidenten einen Verein zu bauen, welcher sie endlich kommt, diese erste UEFA Cup und dann später zum der Champions League. Das wird mein Traum.
Tak wygląda podstawa 11 Górnika. A na zerwu zasiadają Tomasz Lasowski, Tomasz Mossa, Krzysztof Bukalski, Mariusz Kiżys, Adam Beck, Piotr Szuli, Adam Marcinak.
Ik moet zeggen dat de grootste internationale carrière van Polen is begonnen door prestatie van 2 sterke nationale ploegen, dat was Górnik Zabrze en Legia Warschau. Beide ploegs hebben op Europees niveau gespeeld op niveau van kwartfinale, halve finale. En Górnik Zabrze zelf in jaren 70 is gespeeld finale tegen Manchester City, bekerwedstrijden. In die tijd is ook enorm veel goede voetballers in Polen geweest. Enorme, hoe moet ik zeggen, talentloze spelers. Ik zeg een paar namen. Misschien sommige ga ik vergeten, maar oké. Als keepers hadden wij een hele goede keeper, Tomaszewski en Młynarczyk. Als verteidigers hadden wij in de tijd hele goede spelers, Żmuda, Gorgoń, Szymanowski, Musiał. Wat betreft middenvelders hadden wij, ik denk in die tijd, op wereldniveau voetballer welke noemt Dejna. Dat was nog Lato, ikzelf, Szarmach, Gadocha. Dus die namen spreken iets wat betreft Europese voetbal.
From the moment that they are giving the World Cup to an African country, we are happy, we are positive. We are not scared also the fact that they can organize the tournament because they have good facilities, or if they don't have it, they will create that good facilities and those facilities will stay. That's why I really want South Africa, who had a bit of problem to qualify themselves, to manage, you know, to play good and at least to prove 2 years before their own tournament that yes, this generation will be able to succeed.
Well, I think so far so good, to be fair. I mean, obviously now there's a lot of money involved in football, and the focus now really is, you know, building up for 2010, and obviously giving a chance to the, you know, to the young players to come up. I mean, obviously, as we know that young players are future players. It's going to be a difficult one. I'm talking about from the team point of view. It's going to be very, very hard. We're going to compete with, you know, experienced players and countries that been in the World Cup for very, very, you know, many years, and countries that won the World Cups. But I think it's our time right now. I mean, it's a great opportunity for us to make sure that, you know, Africa have what it takes to, you know, to be able to compete with the big boys out there. You look at most of African players, they typical athletes, you know. I mean, they build in a way that they are really athletes. So I think, and obviously talented players as well. So I think for a manager who has an eye, can't really ignore the, you know, the situation. So I think it's not really a secret. It's what we born with and what we have really. We have difficult, you know, poor countries who doesn't have. But my advice really to African brothers is, you know, once you get that opportunity, make sure that you make use of it.
I'm the widow of Fernand Goyvaerts, who was a very famous player's agent. He was actually the first one in Belgium. He was a very known football player. So in 2004 he passed away, and then I took the decision together with my players, or our players, to do the exam and to continue the work of my husband. I must say, every day of the week I'm busy with my players. This means that besides negotiating a contract, it's knowing how he's feeling, all kind of things. So look that he is in the best shape to give the best of himself. And this can be psychologically, physically, whatever the player needs, I'm there to help him. This is one of the main reasons why I like this job, because we are here also to protect the player, because the player, he doesn't know the regulations. And I'm very sorry to say that, but if he has to go alone to a club, most of the cases, they will take profit of the guy and of the parents. So I think it's very important that we are there.
For 6 months I never went to a match because Saturdays became a very hollow day for me, because normally if you're a football player your whole week builds up to a climax on a Saturday, and that just wasn't there, and I found that very difficult to contend with. So I found that the easiest way was to not go to games, because I did tend to miss it very much. If you ask me who I thought were the better players of my day, which was a long time ago, I think the best player I ever played against was George Best. And people try to say how good is he compared to Ronaldo. Completely different, because today the game is based on pace and power, and the players of today at the top level are fantastic athletes. You know, George Best wasn't a fantastic athlete, but he was a complete genius, because, you know, I played against him, and I remember one occasion we had a very hard midfield player when I was playing for Watford as a kid. We played them in the cup, and the coach's instructions were for our midfield player to basically get close to George Best and kick him at every opportunity to stop him playing. This is true. And it was a muddy pitch, and I think George Best walked off the pitch with no mud on his kit, because our midfield player tried to get close to him on a number of occasions and couldn't get near him, because George used to just beat people with his body movement. On the road to becoming successful, you have problems. You know, you can get an injury, you can get loss of form, you can get problems that you need to overcome and keep going. So you need desire more than anything. I think today, and it's advice I give a lot of players, if you make yourself a good athlete, so in other words, if you become strong as you can be, if you work on your fitness levels, I think you can earn a living in today's modern game. And I think there's a lot of players that I know of in England that are playing at the top level who are just very good athletes. Not to think you've arrived as soon as you get your first contract, which happens to a lot of young players, especially at big clubs, where they come through the system as a young player. They get their first professional contract at 17, 3 years maybe, 2 years, and then all of a sudden they start to think that they're professional players. They maybe stop doing what they did to get them to this first contract. So the third thing I would say is to keep going once you have your chance, and really drive it home until maybe you've played 100 or so league games. Maybe then you can say that I'm a professional footballer.